Story 1. I've been visiting Canada frequently since the age of 6. Canadians have always been open and friendly. I now have friends there and am so familiar I consider it a second home. Welland, Thorold, Niagara-on-the-Lake, St. Catharines, Toronto, Crystal Lake Amusement Park when it existed. I love Canada. Story 2. I think most everyone here loves and respects our neighbors to the north. You have not only been great trading partners and allies, but you have given us a lot of great shows. Moreover, anyone who knows anything about history knows we really do not want to fight you. That said, if you felt like burning down the White House again, maybe the rest of us could just be very busy that day. Story 3. I've never had a bad interaction with Canadians, nor have I seen representations of your countrymen be denigrating to my countrymen, until some Americans decided to start hating on you. When our national anthem cut out in your stadiums, you would stand up and sing it because of our near familial relationship. When we asked the world to aid us after September 11th, you were right there beside us. My great-grandfather enlisted to fight in World War I with you once it was legal for Americans to do so, and you accepted him, honored him, and kept his records safe so that I or some other family member of mine could find them. In short, I've always considered us to be brothers and sisters fighting the good fight together. I despise this useless trade war nonsense. We're allies, not adversaries, or at least we ought to be. Story 4. Well, I have no insight into Make America Great Again because, I'm not an imbecile. However, for everyone else, I feel we love Canada no less than we did a month ago. Our country has gone insane. That's the only way I can put it. The total abandonment of reasoning skills is baffling. The lack of consideration for big-picture consequences is asinine. Everyone that I have discussed this with is frankly embarrassed and baffled. Why would we ever want to harm Canada? A lot of us are upset but not entirely sure what can be done to stop this situation. Protesting is ignored, and that one other option isn't realistic. We can do stuff locally, but that only goes so far. Personally, my hope is the massive pushback from other countries sinks the economy so badly that all the bigots lose their life savings and never vote red again. At this point, people have to feel pain to get the concept of stove is hot. Too long. Didn't read. Sorry. Story 5. It pains me that you even need to ask this question. All my life, I have seen Canada as a friend. I just hope that when Trump is gone, we will be able to rebuild our relationship. Story 6. We think you have been the best neighbors and do not deserve any of this. It is so confusing and scary, and literally no American wants any of this to unfold. We love you and we are so sorry. Whatever we can do to stop him from furthering this talk, we will. Story 7. Was out in New York City and all my friends left the bar. Met a group of visiting Canadians who welcomed me into their group and we vibed and danced for a few hours. Bought each other drinks, and when I was leaving they gave me a $5 Canadian bill. Definitely confirmed my prior notion of Canadians. Another time I spent 2 weeks on a nature reserve in Canada, one of the best times of my life. Even without those experiences, I respect and trust Canadians and think Trump is foolish for messing with our dynamic. I don't want you all to be another state of the United States. I want you all to be our friendly allies to the north. I hate that you all rightfully need to be skeptical and wary of the United States because of this nonsense. Story 8. I love Canadians more than my own countrymen currently, even those I served and fought with. Having served and fought with some great ones while in Afghanistan, I have great respect for them both on the battlefield and off. It was a Canadian unit who helped me and my brothers when I was pinned down and asking for help. 2 of them ran directly through enemy fire to get to us. The horrible part is one former brother loves the idea of taking over Canada. The sad part is he was beyond words with joy when they came to our rescue. The irony hurts, truly. Story 9. I love Canada. I live right across the border, have Nexus, and before Trump I would go up all the time. I haven't gone since, worried about driving with an American license plate. I follow the Vancouver subreddit. I know how justifiably angry people are. My friend has dual citizenship, was born there, and has been worried about driving with American plates too. She said we need a sticker that signals to Canadians that we didn't vote for him but doesn't make the MAGA crazies also target us. I really do love Canada. I have family there, and Vancouver is like a second home. I'm sad that our parking lots are not full of Canadians anymore, and it's going to be a long 4 years. Story 10. I feel embarrassed. I'm proud you are standing up to us and hope your country continues to do so. I'm sorry my country is trying to bully yours when you have always been our good friend. Story 11. I've had tremendous times working, drinking, and sharing laughs with every one of you I've ever met. I plan on it being that way until my time is done. Just kind of being normal humans going through things together and making the best of it. Story 12. Nothing has made me feel more sane right now than going on the Buy Canadian subreddit and seeing so many people unanimously come together to stand against Trump in such a powerful and effective way. As an American, it starts to get so hard because you don't know what's true anymore. I don't trust my social media feeds. I certainly do not trust the news feed anymore. Our government is working very hard to isolate us and make us feel like we're the crazy ones for speaking out against Trump and his followers. Our government officials on every side of the aisle are not doing a lot to actually impact what's going on, and our attempts as a people have been strong, but the battle is won in the newspaper. But going on Canadian subreddits and seeing a resounding opposition to Trump and America was so comforting. Story 13. I'm actually legitimately afraid for Canada. Not because of Trump or this 51st state nonsense, but because it seems they are on the same path with their own right-wing extremists. It looks like Elon Musk is going to try the same thing up there, backing right-wing candidates and pushing the country that way as much as he can. I just hope that Canada pushes back so it doesn't happen to them. Story 14. Canada helped us out in Los Angeles with the wildfires while the president criticized us as people were running from their homes. I will never forget it for as long as I live. I have far more affinity for Canadians than I do for Make America Great Again supporters. Story 15. I believe the whole Canadian tariff and 51st state thing is a false flag to cause outrage and distract us all from the actual crimes and destruction of our democracy. It's a coup, folks, and nobody is stopping them. Story 16. I love Canadians, and usually I just want to apologize to you all and the rest of the world on behalf of the approximately 77% of our population who didn't vote for this. Story 17. Nothing but a feeling of kinship. You all have always been our friendly neighbors. The nonsense coming from our government right now doesn't really speak for all of us, or most of us. Story 18. The United States won't take care of their citizens' simplest needs. No way they will do anything good for the Canadians they want to take over. It's a land grab. Trump and his associates want more money. They are stealing from and draining the United States. Then they want to move on to Canada and Greenland. We are living with insanity on so many levels. In World War II, we came to help save the world from Hitler. No one is coming to save the United States. As bad as we think it is going to be, it will be worse. This was all known to be the plan before the election, and this is what the idiots voted for. They and their children are going down with the rest of us. Hope we are a warning to you and your citizens. Story 19. Honestly, and this isn't a dig, I don't think about Canadians at all, ever. From what I can tell, you're just there up north being chill and hanging out with moose. Story 20. As a United States citizen, I don't blame your leadership one bit for reacting to the deplorable behavior of our current leadership. He is a danger to your country and lifestyle just as he is to us. I would be disappointed if Trudeau were sitting back and doing nothing. I also don't blame you and your fellow citizens for boycotting United States goods, as it is about the only method you have to send a strong message to my fellow citizens that this is unacceptable. I also ask you, as a Canadian citizen, not to lump us all together either. Not all of us voted for this, and we're just as afraid as you are. Trump received 77.3 million votes in the popular election, which is only 49.8% of the overall votes. This means less than half of the voters selected him. Harris received 75 million, or 48.3% of the votes, only a 1.5% difference. Even then, the United States population is 335 million, so only 23% of the people in the United States voted for him. Less than a quarter of our population wanted him enough to go to the polls and select his name. Sadly, slightly less were motivated enough to go vote against him. Even if more voted, the Electoral College would probably have elected him anyway, just like what happened in 2016 when he lost the popular vote but still won the election. I also want to urge you and your brethren to vote wisely since Trudeau is stepping down. The last thing either of our people need is for Canada to vote in a fascist like Trump in order to fight fire with fire. Learn from our mistakes. Don't repeat them. Story 21. I love Canada. I used to live pretty close to you guys, but never got to visit. With everything going on, I'm so sorry even though I voted against this, and if you guys ever take people trying to escape, I'm headed your way. I love the cold, so I can definitely adapt to that, and if I ever get the chance to actually go back to school, I'd be more eligible with a better job. I'd even learn French if I needed to. Also, when I worked retail in the Pacific Northwest, sometimes we would get an influx of Canadians in the summer, and honestly, you all were always really nice. Story 22, we love Canadians. This is Trump talking out of his ass. This is his bone to pick, for literally no reason, not us. Unfortunately, he's surrounding himself with the dumbest, most disqualified hires of all time, so he's building a team of yes men. I don't even know what to do. I'm so embarrassed. Story 23. I'm seriously confused why Trump is making an enemy out of our North American Aerospace Defense Command partner and some of the nicest people in the world. Canada, the United Kingdom, and Australia are like our tried and true allies, so I don't know what's going on or why. Story 24. Love Canadians, and I loathe our president and his supporters. If there was a way Canada could adopt my state into their country, I would welcome it. I cannot describe to Canadians the feeling of your country being the bad guy and actually siding with other nations over your own on these tariffs. It feels unpatriotic to not put America first, but morally we are on the wrong side of so many of these arguments. It's very difficult to feel pride in my country right now. Story 25. I love Canada and Canadians. I talk to Canadians every day at work, and it's been a weird few weeks. Even had one message us to tell us they won't be buying our product because we're in the United States. I totally understand. I'm glad you are putting Canada first. Just remember, most of us still consider you our friend. We need to fail. We need to collapse. It's the only way they'll learn. In the end, I hope Canada absorbs Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Michigan. We are close in values and accent to Canada. Plus, here in Wisconsin, we have beer and good cheese. Story 26. Trump pivots quickly when something is unpopular. Annexing Canada would be extremely unpopular. He suggests foolish ideas frequently just to see the response. Story 27. You guys are great neighbors. Him threatening you is insulting and honestly makes me upset. Americans do not want to be fighting with Canada. I do not understand why he is casually treating our closest allies and neighbors like this. This is not what most Americans want at all. I hope you know that right now Americans are not being shown how threatening and serious it is being taken in Canada or the world. They are not even showing the protests that have been happening everywhere. I have been reading news from outside news organizations, and it looks like Canadians have been noticing more activity with our military helicopters at the border, and it is making them nervous. That makes my heart break, and I really hope it is just normal activity or training. You should not have to be living in fear constantly. I am sorry. We are in a bad situation, and I think I and a lot of people in the United States do not know how to get out of it. Story 28. I love my Canadian brothers and sisters, and I feel like I'm on a runaway train with a psychotic billionaire pedophile Nazi driving the train, as a wannabe billionaire pedophile monkey claps while flinging dirt everywhere. Story 29. We love you. I live in a bordering state, and we have friends and family in Canada. We love you guys. We want you all to stay as your own country. Your quality of life would go down if you became a United States state. Story 30. I adore you. Your gentle mannerisms and easygoing attitude. I'm constantly jealous of you guys. It's cold, though, which kind of sucks. You're always welcome here in Massachusetts. Story 31. I have never been to Canada but always wanted to visit. I have met plenty of Canadians and definitely do not have a bad thing to say. You all seemed pretty cool in my book. The whole 51st state thing and these tariffs and trade war nonsense, I, nor any other American that I know personally, am completely frazzled by and are of the same mind. It is really stupid. I hope we all survive the next 4 years. Story 32. I've been going to Canada since before I was 9 for hockey games and tournaments. I always knew we were two separate entities, but always felt like we were more similar than not. We share the world's largest peaceful border, for now, and they have been exemplary neighbors. I think there are few Americans who care more for Canadian sovereignty than American expansionism, and I'm one of them. Emojis sum up how it should be better than my words can. Story 33. I really hope you guys don't hate all of us because, as a trans feminine teacher living in a rural area, I may need to request asylum at some point in the next few years. Story 34. I understand that Canadians don't have to pick and choose between good and bad Americans when the United States is threatening their nation. They cannot be expected to be our saviors. American citizens have a moral obligation to defend their democracy and nation from the very thing that's happening right now. It's not Canada or any other nation's job.